If you're going to bring your faith into the room, your beliefs in the room, your positivity, your hope, that's what your value is. But you can't bring that into a room unless you're solid with yourself. And there's a lot of noise out there. From what I know, you figure out what you want, and that will be your signal. Follow the signal where you want to go. 80% of the time, you're going to achieve whatever you need to achieve.
You're one of the inspirations, especially for the youth in the church that we grew up in. What would you recommend to people, like if they're finding their mental health resources just on TikTok or Instagram? Like, what's the best thing they could do if they think there's a problem?
I would say,
before anything else, I actually want to welcome you to the Broken Instruments. Everybody, this is Dr. Anthony Benigno, CEO, founder, clinical psychologist, head of AB Psych Consulting.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to talk.
Of course. You know, mental health is one of the things I love to talk about. You know, I feel like I didn't choose mental health as a career. It ended up just falling onto me. You know, I think God just brought me to that. So anybody that works in mental health especially, I feel like we resonate a lot. And knowing that you've been building this business from the ground up, it was always something that was on my radar to have a conversation about. You know, you're one of the inspirations, especially for the youth in the church that we grew up in. So I would love to hear the story here on the Broken Instruments.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'd love to talk.
Awesome. I mean, you guys have been here for a while, but the first question I even had was, why psych? Why mental health? How did that even come up?
I think I speak for almost 100% of people who go into mental health. We go into the field because somebody that we love had problems, and they couldn't just handle those problems by themselves. That gets you curious, like, man, I wish I can help. So all of us who go into the field, we go into it because we have the intention of trying to help somehow.
Yeah.
And that was it for me. Somebody I love had problems, and then, you know, when it comes to mental health, it's not just everything in the brain. It's actually called behavioral health now.
Yeah.
So it's the way you behave, the way you act. And when something is off, it's because it all started with something you can't deal with or can't cope with. And I'm like, someone needs extra help to get through that.
Yeah.
And that's what attracted me to the field.
Yeah. Nowadays, behavioral health has been coming up more and more. The thing about it is, I think there was a stigma before about it, whether it's like cultural or you know, things like that. The science of mental health started coming about, and the growth of that and stuff. But, you know, I think we're finally understanding it more. What I'm careful with is not over romanticizing it either, right? But we broke the stigma. That's like one of the best things. I think people are more aware that it's happening.
More people need to get even more aware of it, because when it comes to mental health, it's not a hard science. You can't just say, well, give me the output for this.
Yeah.
You don't have this X plus Y equals Z. You have this is what's going on. Then after you have to figure out what's causing it.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with people's lives. You're dealing with how the culture is. What are the expectations? Like, stuff that's considered odd over here is not odd in Europe or in another country. It's just you have to figure out there's a context for it, and why are people acting like that. Now, like, mental health is one of those things that it's been growing, and so you're thinking, okay, well, depression is no longer, hey, you're sad, just snap out of it. One of the worst things you could ever do to someone who's got depression is say, hey, just get over it right now.
Yeah.
Don't be so sad about that. Oh, that's nothing. That does not help at all.
Yeah.
And I think more and more people are aware of that mental health or any kind of mental health disorder is something that you can't just snap out of. There's something that someone is just going through and just can't get through it.
Yeah. I think the old way was always like, oh, just, I don't know. I've heard people say, just, if someone's really depressed, you just tickle them and then they'll get out of it.
Yeah.
But there's something very deep. We're talking neurochemistry now, neurotransmission, and these people really can't break out of it.
You can't.
Yeah. And like you're right. I think mental health is closer to home than a lot of people want to believe. Mm-hmm. And once you acknowledge that, I think then we can finally make some active changes, right? Like, even from just lifestyle at first, and then all the way up to like clinical help, like what you provide here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got your PsyD, right?
PsyD.
Yeah. Your doctorate in clinical psychology. Was that the first step into mental health, or did you work in mental health before getting your PsyD?
I was actually enrolled in MFT program.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to be an MFT because I wanted to go into therapy. And I thought my limited view of what mental health was or behavioral health was just do therapy. And I had my BA in psychology, and I was just exposed to what exactly psychology is. And I thought, okay, well, psychology is this therapy. But then it just opened up different parts, different possibilities of how I can help. Became more apparent to me after a while, because you're like, dude, it's not just therapy. For me, it all became diagnosis. If you are treating somebody and you don't have their diagnosis right, you're not going to be as successful. You're going to just run around in circles sometimes.
Yeah.
And especially, there's this, especially when it comes to severe mental illness, we call it SMI. And severe mental illness, there's something like, it's called schizophrenia or anything along that spectrum, right? Their reality is not rooted in our reality.
Yeah.
And you can't just say, okay, so in schizophrenia, you have either delusions or hallucinations. And when you have those things, like hallucinations, you're hearing voices. One of the first things that you hear is like, hey, someone called my name. So if somebody goes like, hey, did you call me? Yeah. And you have that going on, and yes, well, there's no one here. I didn't call your name. That's one of the first indicators. You're like, oh my gosh, there might be something going on. Tell me right now what's stressing you out. Because that's an indicator that their coping resources, right, is not able to handle the amount of stress that they're handling right now that's imposed on them. So it becomes really tough. But in terms of like going back to your question about like why did I what the PsyD brought to me, it allowed me to really specialize in diagnosing folks. And that's always going to be the first step. If you don't have the diagnosis down right, you can be just chasing your tail sometimes, and it leads to lost time and a lot of frustration for the families.
Yeah. I think if you talk to somebody in mental health and working on the floor, like the patients with schizophrenia, the major depressive disorder, like you talk to them and then you ask them about their history and everything, and a lot of them would bring up, like, I've had 6 or 7 different psych disorders. And what we try to understand is, hey, these could be different physicians that have evaluated you, and without getting like geeked out about the DSM, but like the different criterias that they met.
Exactly.
Because someone could have bipolar mania with psychotic features. Delusions, hallucinations are there, and then one doctor would look at, oh, how long has it been? It's schizophrenia versus the bipolar actual diagnosis, right? So it's hard because mental health is so hidden, and there's a lot of misdiagnoses. So when you dove into that, I know you see so many clients that come in. Of course, according to the DSM, right? But is there something like different that you could feel, like an energy versus like if we have schizophrenia versus bipolar?
Oh, definitely. You can totally feel that, especially when it comes to before it used to be like different axes, right? And you'd have axis 2, which is the personality disorders, right? Personality disorders have been put back into, like, there's no more axes anymore. And so you're thinking about personality disorders, and like, I guess the quick way to think about personality disorders is you have an ingrained way of seeing things, understanding who you are, how you fit in with the world. And so you develop a lot of patterns of behaviors, ways of coping with things, and with situations. And it's become so ingrained that you're already used to, and you're anticipating problems with other people when you're trying to implement those coping strategies. So then when someone comes in with a personality disorder, it feels like it just sucks you in, right? I'm sure you felt that situation. You're like, they're sucking some sort of energy from me, and I'm on eggshells, and you wind up like really making sure you're you're saying the right things, or you don't want to trigger anything because everything is so ingrained. It's harder for them to be flexible with other possibilities of seeing things. Yeah, it's personality disorders, and you can just feel it because they're like anticipating something going wrong.
Yeah, those the cluster Bs, as we used to call it on the floor. I'm like, energy is a thing. Mm-hmm. You know, and sometimes it's unexplainable, mm-hmm. but definitely, like, man, you just talking about it gives me anxiety. I think about clients I used to work with, and I'm like, just the way they interact with the world around them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where, obviously, the science of mental health is important, but also like how they interact psychosocially in the environments they're in. It's super critical. Yeah, and those are generally like the first issues that you start seeing around somebody who's maybe not fully diagnosed, or they're not fully there yet in need of clinical expertise, but like the family's affected, the friends.
Yeah, you can imagine. Okay, so when I was first training in grad school, we had a site that I went to, and I would work until like 7:00 at night, right? Okay. And each session was 1 hour. They would book 3 clients who were struggling with depression. So you have 3 depressed clients in a row, just sucking a lot of it's almost like the happiness that you have, the hope that you have, they want to pull it from you. So you're just feeling drained. By the end of the day, I just wanted to sleep. It was like, it was that way. So imagine that's me just dealing with them for 1 hour. Yeah. Imagine the family. Yeah. So every single time they come into a room, you're just thinking that energy, they're just sucking the hope, the optimism out of the room just because they need it so badly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
sure even to this day, like, you do evaluations and it does drain you because you're giving a lot. Yeah. You're giving to somebody who arguably needs a lot more. Mm-hmm. So it's like subconscious, they're like pulling from you. Like, what is your strategy? Like, how do you prep for those evaluations, like for you personally, to protect your energy?
Well, what I specialize in is not in the depression and all this stuff. Yeah, okay. It could be like overlapping with some of the stuff that we do. I specialize in autism diagnosis and ADHD diagnosis, right? So those are the 2 diagnoses that are pretty much in the news a lot. Yeah. And also they are misunderstood, misdiagnosed all the time. And so when I'm dealing with any of those issues and I'm looking at little flavors, little sprinkling of depression, anxiety, all those things, it comes into play. Yeah. Like, as a clinician, and you're in the field too, you're always aware of how you feel. What is this person pulling from me? And you're thinking, okay, well, that's a little bit of data. It's not hard data that we're going to write down, but you're like, okay, well, that's going to help me with my clinical decision. I'm going to look for depression here. I'm going to look for anxiety here. How much of that is affecting the way I'm behaving, right? In ADHD, a lot of people come in, they say, well, I've got ADHD. And say, why do you have ADHD? I can't pay attention. Well, think about it. Someone who's got depression, someone who's got anxiety, how hard is it to like really stay focused because they're thinking about their problems? Anxiety, and depression, they have this thing called rumination, right? So you ruminate, and when you're ruminating, you're trying to solve that problem. I should have said that before. I should have done that. Yeah. And you're solving it in your head. And so when you're dealing with that, there's a lot of emotion there. And guess what? It's sucking all of the energy most of the energy you have, and you're trying to like deal with what's 2 + 3. You're only giving like enough, like 10% of your mental capacity on the things in front of you, but most of it you're in your head. Sure. So,
I mean, would you say, like, because of like the TikTok generation, a lot of people are self-diagnosing right now?
Oh, all the time.
And as a person who does diagnose, right? Yeah. What would you recommend to people, like, if they're finding their mental health resources just on TikTok or Instagram? Like, what's the best thing they could do if they think there's a problem?
I would say, try dealing with stuff on your own. You might want to, like, always educate yourself. Always educate yourself. But also know that there's a certain level of education that you got to have to really get it down right. So you want to be a good consumer, right? If you're not a good consumer, then you're going to come in and you're going to say, well, I've got this, just give me the diagnosis already. Or I got this, just treat me for this. And you're going to get treated for whatever you have, but really leave it to the professionals to really nail it down. The two specialties I have, autism and ADHD diagnoses, even like there's other clinicians that are certified or have the authority to give those diagnoses, but they come here to a specialist like me so that they can confirm it. And so if you have like, let's say, an alphabet soup of all these diagnoses, right? Somebody comes in with like, I've got this and this and that, and there's like 20 diagnoses. Most of the time it overlaps or it just can be explained in a very like simple way or a simplified way. I clarify that because I have this, I have that becomes, you have this because of this. You have this because of this. And then if you just treat this, it can be a lot more effective.
Yeah.
So
what's the age group that you generally work with?
So I work with kids as young as 2.5.
Wow.
So it's not really working with the kids, it's working with the parents actually.
I was going to say, yeah.
And then as old as like, I think the oldest I've seen here is like 80.
Oh, wow.
So you got the whole age range, and each part of the age range, they come in because of various things. And I think a lot of the TikTok generation, they come in their 20s and 30s, and they say, I've got this and this. Well, give me the diagnosis. I'm like, sorry, that influencer was wrong.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And that happens a lot. Sometimes I just look at some of these videos, and I'm like, you don't have this.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, I wouldn't say I diagnose or misdiagnose, but I'd be like, I don't see red flags, and people have been putting the red flags there, and they're confirming the diagnosis. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, we're talking about like a 7-second video sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this?
Yeah.
You have ADHD.
Yeah.
So you go to the physician and get some medications prescribed.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
oh man, I talk about this with my students a lot because my students are getting younger, and some of them are coming fresh out of high school too. And mental health is always a sensitive topic because it is close to home.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, now that we're more aware of it, they have the long list of, well, I have this and that. So do you guys accommodate for that? And it's very hard, especially like working in a nursing school where it's like we have standards to meet, right? And I think when people self-diagnose a lot, it's almost like they limit themselves.
Yeah.
And it's an excuse now.
Yeah.
Right? When people come in here looking for that, and you kind of give them the bad news, like, well, I don't think you have it. What's the reaction that you usually get though?
Oh, they get upset. I actually take a lot longer with my feedbacks when the expectations are different from reality. And that's been happening a lot more because of the misinformation that's out there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So it's like you're already working hard for mental health, and then all of a sudden you have a whole new wave that you're kind of fighting against too. Yeah.
I mean, like, you can always get a second opinion.
Of course.
And I think the best way to be a good consumer, okay, educate yourself, but also understand, be really informed about who the practitioner is. If you can ask the questions about, these are the, I've got this, what are the diagnostic criteria, and they can tell you right off the top of your head, then that's your diagnostician. If not, they're like, well, you got this and this and this. I mean, because they come to me for second opinions, I've seen it where you've got this and this, and then there's no logic, and they say, well, now I'm going to diagnose you with this. I'm like, what about the other diagnostic criteria? So that's, you have to be able to, like, say with a certain amount of authority, I looked at this diagnostic criteria, and it looked like you probably met it, but you've got other... They really scrutinize and take a look at every single diagnostic criteria and say, well, this... definitely no. This, I was thinking about no, but ultimately I said yes. If they can do that with that much sophistication and articulate it to you, you've got a good diagnostician. Otherwise, I've known a lot of reports. I've read a lot of reports, and I'm like, what were you thinking?
Oh, jeez. obviously, like as a nurse, like I do understand pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. I truly believe there's a line though before we get to, actually getting prescribed medications and stuff. Like, if you had somebody who's kind of getting there, I would say that once they're past the threshold, then probably they need some medication. I've seen people on medication and it does help, but I don't know. I personally don't think they should be on meds forever.
Yeah.
It might be different. I don't know, because we don't really talk about this. But what are like the core lifestyle changes that someone could actively do just to maintain what I call like mental hygiene, like good mental health daily?
Oh, good question. Definitely get your sleep.
Oh man, yeah.
Right. Definitely eat well, because that actually affects, like, especially anxiety, right? Too much caffeine and whatnot. But also understanding who you are, what's important to you, because sometimes we get worked up about stuff that's not really that important. Right? I'm old enough now that I understand every single thing that's negative is not important.
Wow, yeah.
So understanding what's important to you, once you understand what's important to you, you're like, okay, well, this is bad. How important is that to me? Okay, no big deal. I can just get over it, or that'll work itself out. Understand, because you can get derailed from doing the things you really want to do. And that goes with, that's not just for people with mental health, but just like life in general. You want to be able to get to a certain point, and there's a lot of noise out there.
Yeah.
And from what I know, you figure out what you want, and that will be your signal. Follow the signal where you want to go. If you understand and you're addressing the signal and going towards the signal every single day, about 80% of the time, you're going to achieve whatever you need to achieve. And the self-satisfaction, the confidence that you get will increase how much confidence you have, your mental ability and all that stuff. If you see yourself succeeding and you string like how many successes in a row, that is a lot more, I think, for me, it's a lot more effective than taking medication.
Yeah. Wow. Just the motivation and the drive of just achieving the small things ultimately.
Yeah.
You have a lot of kids.
Right? I do.
How old are they?
My oldest is 16.
Wow.
And then I got going to be 15 next month. And then I've got a 12-year-old. He's going to be 12 this week. And then I got a 10 and I got a 9.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You got your hands full. You see, like, I asked that question because sometimes it's hard to turn off like the clinical aspect of, what's your relationship like with your kids when it comes to mental health? Like, do you talk about it with them?
I do. In concepts of it, and also helping them be more understanding towards people. Because someone who's being not so nice to you, being mean, being rude, or whatever, they might be just having a bad day.
It's very true.
It's not always about you, because people attribute those kind of behaviors like that person has a problem or there's something wrong with me, when it could be like option C. There's none of it. It's neither one. They're just having a bad day.
Sure.
It's just being more understanding, but also like the whole thing of going back to like what's important to you. And one of the things that is hard for, I guess, anybody to go through is like, you really are not going to be liked by everyone.
Yeah.
And people go out of the way to be liked by everyone. The whole TikTok age, the whole Facebook and everything like that, you want likes. And if you don't get the likes, it hits you.
Yeah.
And you don't want that to happen. You don't want to put your self-worth in the hands of other people.
Yeah. It feels like that for everybody, if anything. And I mean, I would argue social media didn't help mental health in general. But especially if we grow up with that, like the new generations growing up with this, it's normal. But yeah, now you got cyberbullying. You could bully someone across the world.
Exactly.
And that person, like you could bully someone, post a comment, and then go to sleep. And then you don't even know that you wrecked that person's day, week, month, maybe their life.
Yeah.
And it's scarring.
That's what I'm saying. You really have to understand what's important to you.
Yeah. whatever you can control, right?
Whatever you can control.
Yeah, I've heard of, I mean, people call it like API, or like assuming positive intent. And it's like, if you reframe things, I think it helps you understand
Yeah.
people better. Like if someone cuts you off on the freeway, it's like, hey, they might be rushing to the hospital,
Yeah.
see their family.
Yeah.
And whether it's true or not, I mean, your energy could be protected from that.
Exactly.
You know?
Why do you have to waste your energy trying to recalibrate from being negative?
Yeah.
That's time, that's energy, and also like it's thoughts that's being wasted. You have like how many thoughts in a day?
Yeah.
Why are you gonna waste like more than 50% of your thoughts on something that is really out of your control and it really doesn't matter?
It's true. So like when you talk to your kids about this, like what's the response like? How do they receive it?
Oh, they're all pretty young. Well, it depends. But when they go through stuff, I'm just like, you got to be more, just be positive. Understand that your value is not in their hands. I'm just like, well, when it comes to confidence, it has to come from who they are as a person. And you increase your value by like saying, well, this is what I can bring to a room. And whether or not it's appreciated, it's what you're bringing to the room. It doesn't matter what they think about it. If you're going to bring your faith into the room, your beliefs in the room, your positivity, your hope, that's what you're bringing. That's what your value is. But you can't bring that into a room unless you're solid with yourself.
Wow. Yeah, like raising a family in this day and age especially has always been like one of the, I wouldn't say like it's a challenge right now because my kids are young, but it's definitely a worry of mine, you know, because you want to protect them, but also you don't want to over shelter them from life, because life is about lessons.
It is.
Right? But you would hope that we could raise our kids to understand like what you're putting out there, like just understand that there are things you can control, and you know, believe it or not, most people aren't doing things to hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them are they're holding misery, and misery loves company, so it just leaks into your energy too, and it's one of the most difficult things because we're a world of people.
Exactly.
You know, and people are very feeble. We're very emotionally feeble.
The thing is, like, if you become negative and then you're gonna tell your friends and you're gonna put that on them, whatever they do because you wound them up that way, you're kind of responsible for that too.
Man, juggling having a family and building this business, what was that journey like? How was if there ever is balance, like how did you even try to find it?
Sorry to say, there is really no work-life balance.
It's a myth, right?
You work hard. You work hard, but you have to that's why you have to figure out what your values are, what's important to you. And then you prioritize that. You got to spend your time working on yourself, working on the things that are important to you. And then you'll figure everything out. Everything else, you know, if you have the right people in your life, they can, so many entrepreneurs that I'm like listening to or reading about, they always say number one thing is, who's your life partner? If you choose the right life partner, someone who understands where you're trying to go, who you are, what your weaknesses are, how to fill in the gaps, and you have a shared vision, that is one of the most powerful things that you can have in your life, because you'll be able to accomplish anything, right? With the 5 kids, my wife, she picks up the kids. This is an afternoon for her during the school year. She picks up, because they go to 2 different schools. She goes, picks up our first batch of kids in one school, waits for them for a little bit. Then after that, she goes to the other school to pick up our other kids. And if they have extracurricular stuff, then she has to kill some time, wait for them to be done. So she leaves the house like 2 o'clock, and she comes home like sometimes 7 o'clock, 7:30. And that's just her in the van. And she's like, well, that's my second home now.
Oh, man.
But it's the sacrifices that we know we take, because we have the shared vision. This is what we want to do. This is a temporary thing for us. Ultimately, what we're shooting for is like everyone is going to be able to reach their potential. Everyone is going to be, well, hopefully we're raising good people who can contribute to society, and people who would be positive and like the values that we have, the things that we believe in that are important to us. They'll carry it, and then they'll be able to propagate it wherever they are. That's the thing that me and my wife always think about. What's important to us? Okay, our kids are struggling with this. How are we going to make it so that they'll understand stuff? It's not about coddling. There's going to be a little bit of coddling, but there's lessons where they have to learn how are you going to deal with people who are not good to you. If you can't handle that, if you're going to crumble, you're not going to get anywhere.
Very true.
So you got to be able to say like, okay, well, this is a challenge for me. You said this about me, this whole thing about, right? I read so many times about like most small businesses fail, right? They say like what, over 80% of small businesses, they fail within the first year, and it goes even higher for like people, for businesses, they don't last 5 years. We're going on 8 years. Well, we're 8 years now.
Wow.
And we've been growing. But like the whole challenge of like, you can't do this, and other people have been telling, what are you trying to do? And I just said, no, this is important to me. Find out what's important to you. If it's that important, you're going to put all your time and your energy in that.
Yeah.
And then so that's what I want the kids to have. Like I want the kids to be able to say, this is important to me. I'm going to put my energy into that. And then you'll see them now when they're being challenged to do stuff, you can see they're working on what it is that's important to them. Like this morning, I went to my garage, and that's where we have our workout stuff. And one of my kids was there because his goal was like, I want to have abs by the end of the summer. Right? See, this guy's like doing this. This one of our other kids is like, I want to do this. I want to learn guitar. I want to learn this and that. They're working on it. It's because it's important to them. And when they build those skills or anything like that, it really builds up their confidence. If you just focus on what's important to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think it was like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, they were asked, what is the number one, or one of the two, right? Or Steve Jobs. They said, what is the number one skill that you got to have? And independently, they both said focus. If you're going to be able to focus on something, you'd be able to like accomplish whatever you need. There was also like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? A short came into my feed like saying, okay, all these people, they come up to me, they said, I've been working out for this long, how come I'm not getting any gains? And I said, let me see how you work out. And he says, well, they're just doing this. And I said, well, you're not getting anything because you're not focusing on what you're supposed to be focusing on. If you focus, that's one of the that's one skill that'll get you somewhere, because your days are not wasted on things that really don't matter. Yeah.
That relentless focus on the one thing that lights you up, that signal that you're talking about, the guiding light.
Yeah.
Man, and that's such a blessing to have a wife and a family that supports you in what your signal was saying.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the sometimes the unsung hero when you see successes like this. It's the sacrifices that that your wife made.
Yeah, she made a lot of sacrifices. Yeah, like her own career she put on hold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she stopped working because we had to raise 5 kids, and we did the math. We were like, it's cheaper for me to just try to build a business than for us to like have two working parents, and we're gonna have to pay for daycare.
Oh man, yeah. That's the thing. It's a full-time job to be a mother.
It is.
You know, and I see it like me and Gracie talk about this all the time too, and we're looking at examples of families, right? Yeah. But we, ever since having kids, we're just like, we at this critical stage in their life, like we want to be around them more, and I'm blessed because Gracie does see things like that too, where she sees the importance. She's a peds nurse,
okay,
so she sees different family dynamics, and the simply like being present as a parent, you see how that as the primary support system for a kid is so critical at this point in their life.
Personalities are really formed at the core of like up to 7 years old. However, whatever energy you give them, whatever time you give them, them understanding that you're going to be there no matter what. If they feel that that whatever problem they have, you can handle it with them. That'll make them feel more grounded, and they don't feel as insecure about things anymore. If they know that they can go to you, that really helps out a lot.
Yeah. That's my prayer. That later on when my kids are older, that they can still always think of me and their mom first. Mm-hmm. Rather than casting our kids out to the world and then they look for friends first. Yeah. I would say that the family's the core of everything in life.
I mean, they're going to transition away from you because they have to separate from you.
Yeah.
But if they know that net is there, that safety net is there,
always,
they can chase their dreams because, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you're not feeling safe, you're not going to get to the top of the pyramid. You got to know that I feel safe, I'm provided for, and everything like that. That's taken care of. Then I can work on myself.
Yeah. Wow. And ultimately, like you're saying, you want them to be contributors to society in the right direction, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I mean, we understand that we have a purpose in our life.
Yeah.
And if we have that purpose, we're grounded on that, right? We need to know, we need to love, we need to serve. And if we're doing all those sort of things in our life, then what are we doing wrong? I mean, if we're wasting our time doing other things, then if you're unhappy, then you just got to cut those things out.
Yeah. Things that just drain your energy too, or you could direct the focused energy into what would actually generate more for the family, the world, everyone that you come in contact with.
Yeah. I've come to the realization, okay, I'm 52 now, right? Mm-hmm. And I've been watching all these videos of all these celebrities that were just I looked up to a lot. Yeah. And now I'm looking at them, I'm like, dang, you got old. You know what I mean? And so we have a limited amount of time that we can make our mark. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm in the middle of that stage in my life. I have just enough energy and time to make a difference. And right now I think I'm working on a project I think is going to make a difference. Mm. And so a lot of my time is being spent there. If I thought there was something else, then I think I wouldn't have enough focus. So I'm like, dude, I'm swinging for the fences right now, and I'm going to do something. I think it could be really big, and that could make a difference in the field. So
yeah, you don't have to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
It sounds big though.
Yeah,
and it's definitely intriguing. Now, I mean, you've accomplished things that I would dream of accomplishing, right? Not even a small business. We're talking big business now, I think you just told me, hey, you won an award, right?
Yeah,
which award was it?
It was the Inc. 5000.
Wow.
Which is by Inc. magazine, and they award it, and it's not supposed to go out until August. We promise not to tell people, but it's for the small businesses. We ranked in one of the fastest growing businesses in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. See, people have goals and dreams like that, and to even hear that you're tacking more on top of that to accomplish something else. I mean, that drive, what's keeping you driving for more, even if you've accomplished something like this?
I always see, I think it's my training as an entrepreneur, which came later after I got my skill set as a psychologist. I see the world in terms of what are some problems that people need to solve.
Yeah.
And so, entrepreneurs think about it this way: the bigger the problem you have, the more value you have. And I think I stumbled upon, well, not really stumbled. I looked around and it became really obvious. It almost became like elephant in the room that no one was talking about. And I think I want to tackle this elephant. But this big problem that I have and that I've noticed is something I really think is worth someone trying to solve. Specifically, what we have here is so like how I said, for mental health, the number one thing that you got to work one of the most important things you got to worry about is a good diagnosis. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when it comes to evaluations, you got a wait list that you got to go through. But not only that, you have quality of evaluation, but also the speed of evaluation. You come in, you got to wait like 4 to 6 months for your report.
For the report.
After the evaluation. And I've tackled that's the thing I'm trying to tackle right now.
Yeah.
There's wait lists all over the place for evaluation.
I was going to say, I think we had a brief conversation about that, but I mean, you're working on bringing that report way faster than 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable sharing that? Like, what do you, like, time frame are you shooting for?
Well, I've developed some systems.
Yeah.
And I've been like kind of using some of those systems, and I'm always like developing ways to make that system even more efficient. But I've been able to to put reports out there within 2 hours after they leave, like full comprehensive reports.
Yeah, that sounds unheard of compared to 4 to 6 months.
Yeah. Well, okay. So a good psychologist, a good assessment psychologist who's pretty seasoned, they'd probably be able to do like 5 or 6 reports in a month. Mm-hmm. There was a point when I was doing about 12 reports in a week.
Talk about motivated, man. Talk about driven.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've developed some systems, but the systems require like a lot of resources. But imagine making those resources a lot more efficient and having other people access those, and being able to like have other people in other states. Like for instance, autism diagnoses down here, like for the Inland Regional Center, who we have a contract with, I think their wait list is 3,000 to 4,000 families. In Northern California, we have another contract up there, and their wait list is I think 9,000, right? And other states, they've been telling me when I contact them that their wait list is 6 months to over a year. If we can get those systems down, and we're able to like really just help onboard and train clinicians to do this, we can get through those wait lists really fast. And not only, I mean, it's good for us, but think about the families who are waiting for the diagnosis, and they can't get treatment without the diagnosis.
Yeah.
So being able, and the earlier the intervention, the better the outcomes. So imagine how much of a difference we can make in people's lives, in families' lives, if we propagate this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just even walking through here, man, we got people full on operation mode, and it's awesome. It's amazing. How many clinicians do you have in this
over
place here? Yeah.
Okay, so we have I think we have 8 psychologists over here.
Okay.
Psychologists and postdocs or psych associates. And we also have nurse practitioners. We have got 2 nurse practitioners over here. And then we have like TMS also.
Yeah.
TMS is the Transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is good for like treatment-resistant depression. But we also have an ABA team that's out in the field.
Yeah.
So they're out in the homes and taking care of that. So yeah, we're busy every single day. I have to understand, okay, what's going on here? What's going on there?
Yeah. But that system that you created is replicated, and now it's multiplied over these clinicians. And I would only imagine you're reaching those families that are in need right now.
So once they get a diagnosis, they need to get treatment. So that's what the other department's are about.
Awesome. Man, so I mean, let's talk about TMS, because I think we mentioned it at some point. You know, I'm all about the like least invasive first type thing. I think you're one of the first places to implement TMS.
Yeah,
FDA approved.
In the Inland Empire.
Yeah. So what exactly is TMS?
TMS is, well, I guess it's the best way I can explain it is that in your brain you've got like a part of your brain that's controlling your emotions, right? You got the emotions part, and you also can modulate your emotions. Well, there's something that's kind of faulty with the way you're modulating the emotions. And one way to improve the way you're in control of your emotions is through talk therapy, also medications. But sometimes when the medications aren't working and the talk therapy isn't working, you just feel depressed most of the time. There's this other alternate treatment that we have. Before, there's this thing called ECT.
Yeah.
Right? And ECT is kind of scary, right? When ECT first came out, it's electroconvulsive therapy, right?
Yeah.
And what it does is it stimulates your whole entire brain, and you go into convulsions. That was the way it was in the early days. Then after that, what they did is they give you an injection to stop the convulsions. So you're not going to have any your muscles aren't going to respond to the ECT. And the only way you can say, well, is ECT working? Because you're like, is it working or not? Is they would cut off the blood supply to like probably your big toe, and so that doesn't get the injection, but you can see their big toe kind of like flapping like that. Say, okay, well, ECT is working, the electrics, and then when people would have would go through ECT, their depression would lift.
Yeah.
For about 1 or 2 months, I think, right? But one of the big side effects is that you lose your memory too. So you'd have some people who go through ECT and you're like, do you remember this? You remember? Like, I don't remember anything. And then you'd have to go back again. Well, TMS is like ECT, like in practical purposes. It's like ECT in that it lifts your depression through magnetics. So it realigns something in there, right? And so whatever that's being misaligned at that time is being aligned better so that they can deal with the depression, and you can see the effects of the depression actually lifting. And treatment it's a daily treatment. It's not like every couple months. It's like daily for about 6 weeks, and you can see the improvement.
Yeah.
In there. Yeah.
Do they taper off after the 6 weeks, or is it just like you can just turn it off?
After 6 weeks, that's it.
Really? Mm-hmm. Man. ECT, I've worked with patients that were going through ECT, and then, they tried, obviously it sounds like really inhumane at some point, but I've seen people improve with it, and I'm talking some people just like 180.
Yeah.
Like someone that never talked for like the weeks that they were with us, and then all of a sudden one morning they're just like, hey, how's it going?
Exactly.
I'm like, who's that, dude?
Yeah.
And then you find out like, their history, they've been through every antidepressant and nothing's worked.
Yeah.
A doctor would recommend it. Second consent, third consent, family agrees. And then I've seen people improve. But I feel like it is kind of pulling back away from people. Like ECT is not as rampant as it was, I guess, when I was on the floor.
Yeah.
But TMS, this is new? Like, when did it start?
I'm not sure when it started, but in the Inland Empire, I think we're only one of 3 places that are using it.
Oh, wow.
And in LA, it's so new that a lot of the insurance companies are not, they don't know how to fund it. And it was just this year that IHP, which is one of the bigger insurance places over here, was able to figure out how to have their providers give those services. So it's like it's really new, and it's not. It's understood to a certain point, but there's gaps.
Yeah, of course. Anything new.
Yeah.
Right. So someone would come here for the treatment.
Yeah, they
to
would.
the office.
Yeah.
Do they put like a super suit on? What do they do? Like
They put
helmet?
a cap on.
Okay.
They sit in the chair.
Yeah.
I call it the happy chair. And then they put the cap on, and then they try to figure out where exactly the magnets are supposed to go. Everybody's brain is a little bit different, so they have to figure out where do we measure and all that stuff. And then once they have the cap on, they turn on the machine, and sometimes it's like half an hour that they're sitting in there getting the magnetic stimulation. Sometimes it's shorter than that, but yeah.
So roughly like 30 minutes.
30 minutes or less,
treatment?
I think. Yeah.
But you come back daily for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people have come through already to start it?
Because it was so new with insurance, it's been so tough.
Okay.
But right now we have a caseload of, I think, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to know how it's playing out.
Yeah.
That's super interesting to me.
Yeah. I think that it's going to be probably the future for a lot of other treatments too, because I know that some places are starting to, or there's literature that's coming out that they're using it for autism, they're using it for ADHD.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So as of right now, it's for MDD, right? Major depressive disorder,
and a little bit of OCD as well.
Oh wow. So now like they're just studying to find which other disorders it could help with.
Exactly.
Wow.
And if that's one of the treatments for autism or ADHD, just think about like with lining up with my diagnostics, say, well, you can just go over here.
Yeah, because I would imagine a lot of people are afraid to start meds, and they think, oh, I don't want to be on meds forever.
Exactly.
The least invasive. I mean, that's super intriguing to me because I'm all about that too.
Yeah. I think most people should be.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so, man.
Right? Meds can really take they can really change your life. Like for instance, with the antipsychotics, with the typical antipsychotics, and you have all those different like permanent damage. You have like
tardive dyskinesia.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very sad, and but I'm all about like finding new treatments for it, and TMS sounds like something I'm super intrigued about.
Yeah.
So
I'm hopeful that this will be something that becomes really beneficial and that it'll be more mainstream.
Yeah. And you said out of the Inland Empire, you're one of 3 that's offering it right now. Mm-hmm. Wow. If they wanted more information about it, where do people go to even like look it up?
You can Google it, and you can find out a lot of information about that way.
And if they search like AB Psych Consulting, it'll be on the website. They can inquire.
It's on the website, and we have our administrator who understands everything, answer most of those questions more in depth.
I mean, the services you provide, obviously, it's more than just business. It's more than just mental health only. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes the mental health or our minds could be even a barrier to tapping into that faith, the deeply rooted understanding of life, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine that, your mental health services are helping people, but ultimately there's something beyond that you're pushing for these families.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. How do you find that balance, or to at least reconcile what people think are divided, like mental health, but also like faith and spirituality?
Well, okay. So I'd like to, as best as I can, I try to live my faith, right? So it all starts with how do you present yourself, and if you have the faith in you, there's going to be something that's different about you already, right? How come you forgive people a little bit more? How come you're a little bit more patient? Or how come your kids seem to get along with you? Or anything that's different, people are going to be like, oh, I'm kind of curious what's going on. If you have that and you live your faith, and then, well, that's your day to day. But if your goals are aligned with your faith as well, right, it'll be easier for you to talk about your faith, right? When I talk to my clinicians, like I talk to some of them on a weekly basis. Sometimes I talk to them on a quarterly basis. I said, remember, we are serving the people. We are serving the people, serving families. We're serving our patients. They do not come to us. They don't go up the mountain to talk to a sage or whatever like that.
Yeah.
We are not the ones that are supposed to be praised. And it's so easy to get into that mode when you're a doctor. When you have that label, when you have that title, you worked hard for it. So you're like, okay, I want to be a doctor. Mm-hmm. Man, it can be you can get into your head so much. And you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person. So you talk to I remind my team, we're serving people. They're not serving our ego. We are serving the people.
Wow. Yeah, like you said, like you accomplish so much, but then you risk having the ego take over, and I don't know, like it's the gurus at the top of the mountain and stuff. But we're all in our own little ways. We're serving. Yeah.
Well, when I see also like, okay, well, I believe that there's always opportunities for you to remain humble. Oh, yeah. There's always humbling experiences. If you can get angry at those, but you can also be thankful for those.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
If you switch, it's up to you. how are you going to deal with it? It really is up to you. It's up to you if you want to be sad. It's up to you if you're going to be happy. How are you going to take it? Are you going to take it as an opportunity for you to stay grounded so that you can do the great things that you're meant to do, or not? I believe that we're all meant to do great things. Great things. I'm not just talking about like, hey, I moved this and this. I think we're all called to do great things in our lives, and we're going to make differences in the world. But it's like, don't let yourself get in the way of your greatness.
Wow.
Because your greatness ultimately comes from God, right?
Amen, man. Wow. I think we have to end on that note for sure. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to everything that you got going on, everything you're building. And I think whoever watches this, I'm sure they're going to be watching to see all the good things that you guys do, how you serve the world in the name of God. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Benigno.
All right. Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah.
All right.